Hi everyone. Today is April 16th, middle of the month, second quarter. We had seen quarterly chart a couple of weeks ago, month end, that session, and then we also tracked monthly and weekly. We always track. At this moment, this is a pivotal moment. This is the moment. When I say moment, means not just this moment. I mean now from next 1 week probably is the most critical time phase where I think we are going to see the direction. If you look at not just from Bitcoin, but even stock market, I know some of the commodities are already going up, soaring. They're soaring. We can talk about that if you're interested. I'm happy to share what I know, right, beyond crypto. So ask me. At this moment, I'll just limit myself to Bitcoin and altcoins we have in the list, right? And then we can unfold the session as you wish, right? So as usual, let's start with Bitcoin. I opened 12 hours. What we'll do, maybe we can have a quick look at 1 hour, and then we go higher. So right now I'll focus on the local pattern, the immediate pattern that we see, and then we'll zoom out and go all the way to one monthly scale. Okay, so the purple line is a lifesaver. Okay, you must have seen that. Of course, this is S6 at this is a near 40K. This is also 40K range, 39,600 something is also 40K range, because this is 1 hour. So that's why. Essentially, this is a critical level, which we had mentioned earlier last week when it was near 48K. I had highlighted that we are going to see reaction near 40K. That had and we saw that. Okay, what we saw is a bounce here, right? So here it stopped. Purple line was added before price hit this level, and it reacted, it bounced, and then retested, and then there was resistance, and then went up, moved up. Where it stopped at 41580. This was a support earlier, right? This was yellow support that we have been talking about. So when the price breaks below the support, it becomes a resistance. In technical term, we call SR flip. Support becomes resistance, and other way happen. Resistance becomes support when price breaks above the resistance, right? That's how it works. So this was the support, became resistance. So when it took off from here, we were expecting some reaction here because it had to break above. And if this is broken above, then this. If this would have broken above, then this, and so on. And that's how the price action is observed. And we were saying that if we get 43K, then we will be in a good position from a bull point of view. We always talk about bull point of view because the majority of the traders are bull oriented, means they would like to see price go up. So whenever I narrate anything, say anything, is always from a bull point of view. But as far as trading is concerned, opportunity can be on both the sides, but we have to take one side to avoid confusion. That's why when I say risk, it is from long point of view, bull point of view, right? Otherwise, whenever I say risk, means it's opportunity for shorts or bears. So that's implicit, right? Indirect. Okay, so we'll stick to our stand where we always look from a bullish point of view, right? So this was rejected, and this was important, and this, you know, that this bounce is nothing. This is 1 hour. We'll zoom out and you will see. But the these levels are so important for us that it's like a GPS where which road it will turn we don't know, but we know what all are the turns. So if you have GPS and assume that you don't know the point destination, at least you would know that okay, there is next right turn, there is next left turn. After that, there is whatever steep and major resistance or traffic jam or something like that. So to me, the charts, the resistance support, and all the patterns that you see is kind of that. What we do is that we are watching the car on the GPS system. What we don't know, what driver is thinking. Driver is what? Market. So we have GPS. We are watching the car, which is price. Driver is the market, and we don't know what market is going to do. That's the reality. However, we know the grid, we know the GPS, means we have the map. So if it takes right turn, for example, in a car in GPS, then we know that after that right turn, how far is that road goes, when is the next junction. So we what we do is if the car takes the right turn, then for next 5 miles there is a straight road. That is equivalent to not having any resistance in our chart point of view or trading point of view. Similar, I'm giving analogy so you can visualize. So when there is junction, we have to wait for that right or left turn, and based on the turn we can say okay, now for next 5 miles or 10 miles the road is clear. We don't have to think until and unless, let's say, after 10 miles there is another junction. So it's like that. Junction is like resistance. When price goes up, we'll say okay, it's here. If it goes and breaks above and settle, then we'll say okay, now next one is this. If this is broken above, clean short, then we can say okay, the next reaction is going to be here. It's like that. This is how it works, and I think the analogy that I gave is the best possible analogy I could think of, where we don't know what market is going to do, but we do know what are the potential left and right turns. What we have to do is whenever it reaches to a junction which is resistance, we have to see where it goes and we can plan accordingly. I mean, we would have planned that this is the resistance, and what we have to do is we have to set alert on resistance, so when it comes to resistance we would know what to do. Okay, so I think it's time to zoom out and see what, because I think 1 hour is not going to give us any clarity, right? We can look at this pattern. We could see how many times it landed on the purple line. It went up, right? It went up and then retested this one, and then it's able to again bounce off, right? This is what is happening. So this is the first landing and then consolidation, couple of attempts to break down. Eventually it bounced, and I'll tell you there is fundamental associated with this. So what is interesting is there are fundamentals, but not the fundamental that typically crypto community track. Fundamentals are beyond crypto. Okay, in this case the bond yields were the fundamentals. We'll talk about that. I think I mentioned in one of the pulse call when one of the users, I think Ken, had asked me that question. So he asked me that why it happened, and I explained that this is what I think. And what happened the next day, the bond yield went up, and immediately BTC went down. So what is interesting about TA is definitely there could be some fundamentals, but it reaches to certain level, and that certain level is resistance. So even if it reacts or reverses its course or direction, it does at certain level, not some random level. So that's why TA works. You would be thinking that if the fundamentals are driving, then you know how TA works. So you will see. I mean, you must have, those who are on the opportunity channel must have seen that how they react near resistance when they are identified correctly, right? Of course. So it's like the fundamental says go up, but fundamental doesn't tell how high. That TA can tell. TA cannot tell the direction. Let me tell you, the fundamentals drive the direction, but fundamental cannot tell that when it is exhausting, overbought, or right, or oversold, or where it is going to react near resistance and support. It doesn't tell. So you need both. So those who analyze from both fundamental and technical, he or she would have the highest probability. Again, the game is a probability game. The highest probability of understanding the price action, a step ahead. He or she could be a step ahead. It's not about telling the future like many people think 100k, 1 million, blah blah blah, 1k, 10k, either side. Those are speculators. And sometimes TA becomes speculators. There is a difference between when TA talk about extreme levels, they are not TA, let me tell you. They're fortune teller. They act like a fortune teller as if they know the future. Reality, nobody knows the future. If everybody, if we were knowing the future, probably, it would have been so easy. In reality, so those who talk about far-fetched future are speculators. See, nothing wrong in speculating. I mean, there's no rule that you cannot speculate. But the question is, are you how accurate are you going? I mean, how accurate will you be? Because when it is about making money, you need to be accurate. Otherwise, you could go wrong and lose money. So there is no harm in speculating. I can say, you can say anything. But the thing is, the reality is, like I often say, when you look at our, let's say, vision, right? When you look at 1 foot, it's it's optimum maybe when you read, or 1 foot, 2 foot, if you are reading book and all. So, but if you look at, even if you drive, let's say driving example is the best example. You have visibility, but the visibility is not great when you look, let's say 200 meters. It gets blurry. And what I argue is, you can think that I can see far, but it's always going to be blurry in reality. And you don't need to see far. Like as I said, even if you are planning to drive 100 miles, do you expect that you could see 100 miles? No. What you want to make sure is, when you drive a car, you want visibility up to certain meters or feet. That's it. Because the clarity is going to come as you drive. So why would you need to look at 100 miles? I mean, it would be great if you could, but the reality it doesn't. So same thing with trading and TA. You have visibility, accuracy up to certain level, certain distance. If you try further, then the probability of going wrong is higher. So that's the thing. So anyone who talks about extreme levels, you can talk, but you have to have a checkpoint in middle to say, are we validating? So we need to validate that whatever we projected is correct or not. So that's my take. So that's why talk more about the present and immediate resistance, because you don't need to talk about extreme. There's absolutely no requirement, even if you're long term. Long term is the plan for how long you want to hold. But for an example, if taking about our age, I give that example as well. We don't think about our age every day. If we are healthy today, the probability of being healthy tomorrow is very high. If we have cough or cold, we know that there is some sickness or symptoms of sickness. If there is fever, then there is more, and so on. So the situation go bad stage wise or incrementally, nothing, right? So I believe that there's always a sign that now the health is deteriorating, right, degrading, and that's enough. So until and unless the health is good, we say that we are healthy, right? I mean, unless and until we see some symptoms and you know progression in that direction, we can say we're healthy. We don't have to think. Similarly, you don't have, if you're, even if you're long term, you have to say, is it healthy or not? If not, then you have to think about it. And so every other day or every week you ask that question. If it is healthy, that's it. You don't have to think from 6 months down the line. Every week you say, is it healthy? If answer is healthy, yes, you're good. So you're still long term. So that's my take. Even if your time horizon for holding position for 6 months or 1 year or beyond, it doesn't make any difference. If you have to have a checkpoint, that's it. And a weekly call like this is a health check in a way. So it doesn't matter whether you're short term or long term. Okay, so what you're seeing is a consolidation here. Now, in my opinion, today is Saturday. It is possible that it may not make major move, because it might move, wait for Sunday evening my time, so midnight UTC, around that time, when the market opens. Nasdaq will open, um, bond market will open, oil market will open, and so on. So that's where I believe a major move is expected. Until then, it may play around within a range. So if it can make a move, then amazing. But it is possible that it may not, and remain range bound until market opens, which is around 30 hours from now, or maybe 34 hours from now. So let's see. What else? So this is 12 hours, right? So you are seeing the consolidation is happening now. This consolidation. So when you see this kind of a drop, there was a consolidation here, and then another drop. So this consolidation uh, could create another leg and land on this one. So let's look at zoom out on one day. So I added the red line after the purple line. So what it is telling that, so there were, I just connected these two spikes basically, and these are interim levels. These are not after this one. So if after 40K, this is the last range that I talked about, 37K, right? It could be plus minus $500 here or there, but point is around 37K is the next and ultimate level. Why? Simple reason being, if you look at this channel, the it is right now, it's not that bad. We'll look into weekly and we'll say this is not bad, it can recover from here, why not, right? Even if you look at the fractals, so this is one fractal and this is kind of a replica of that. So in this case, this could be this, but it could make this kind of a move and go up. It may not make move, but this consolidation is equivalent to this one, and we could see this kind of a move on the upside. Why not? It is possible, and it could go up, and we have to track it. So you cannot assume that, oh, because it went down it will. The fractal ends somewhere sometimes. Okay, so the end point is challenging to me. This is the end of the fractal, and if it starts from here, it will be new pattern, right? So so this is important, and that's why I'm saying this consolidation is identical to this consolidation. Now whether it's impossible to say whether it will make another move like this one and go up, or make a move and continue going down. That will be impossible for anyone to tell. However, we know that this what level to be watched out, that if it must not break below 37K. S8 is also a critical level, which is not so far from 37K, 36K. So maybe S8 is the ultimate level. We could say 36K to 37K, maybe a range we can think of. If that range is broken below, then Bitcoin is in real trouble. In simple words, at this moment it can survive, it can go up without any doubt. Okay, so you, if those are who believe in upside breakout, nothing wrong in doing so, because right now it is it is under pressure. When I say under pressure, what I mean is we cannot say this is bull setup, no way. However, there is a possibility, right? So this it's like you think, okay, so for an example, if you're in the water, if the water is your hip level, you can say okay, not bad if you're a swimmer. But if it comes to your chest level, then it's something that you have to worry on. And if it is near your face level, then of course you're sinking, right? Definitely you're sinking. And so point is, the 37K is like your face level, your nose level, where you can say you are about to sink if you don't get out, kind of, or if the situation doesn't change. Either you get out or water should recede, either of the situation. And that kind of risk assessment we are talking about, right? 40K is still your chest level, where water is rising. Water is rising. In this case, the price is going down, or pressure. So that's what I mean. So the weekly and the monthly is going down. We are going to see that they are weak, and the quarterly is also weak. However, the improvements start on a daily time frame, because weekly, monthly, and quarterly takes time, as you could imagine, because their setup changes, but changes take time. But you can also think that, look at, if they turn bearish, that means situation were bearish for last few weeks. That's why they turn, because they don't turn bearish easily. So if they turn bearish, we have to be bearish, right? But there are some last levels where we can say it can survive. As I say, if you're underwater, you're sinking, but you the water is still manageable, where you can say you can get out of it. So that kind of a situation we are in, right? So you have to understand that when I talk about a possibility that it can go up, the situation is bad, but there is a ray of hope, that kind of a thing. So that there is a difference, right? So definitely the bears are in control at this moment, right? But the bulls have opportunity, provided it doesn't break below 37 or 36K level. That's my message. Okay. And if you have any confusion, feel free to ask me. I can explain more. Now I'm going to zoom out and show different version that we have to give you more understanding. Not this version, right? This version. So this version we have been tracking. So I have this R line. It is possible that it takes this path, but if this is compromise, then it goes down. So maybe I should draw another arrow below this one on a weekly time frame. I doubt it will stop here in that case. The next one is 24K. The simple being reason is this um, setup has enormous energy on for both the sides. That's the tricky thing. The consolidation of last 13 months, this consolidation is not ordinary consolidation. It started from February last year, so it's like more than 14 months of consolidation. And this consolidation is nothing but energy gathering. This is recharging the battery. Okay, recharging the battery, like, but the not which side, it all depends on what level it hits. That's how I see, right? And I'd explain that with different analogy. So if you look at it, this is a upper bound, lower bound. My concern is it's over here, it's not here. If it is here, like it was like 3 weeks ago, we were in a best position to go up, right? But it is not here. It is not near 48K or 46K level, or about this level. It is here. And there are macro factors that are against the tech stock and Bitcoin, and that's another reason why we are saying we have to be watch out. So this situation is different now compared to last 3 weeks. I mean, compared to 3 weeks ago, totally different. So you can see that's why I'm saying the downward pressure is rising for sure, right? And this is critical level. I mean, this range this range is critical. You can draw this orange line on your local. You connect this June low, July low, connect this with January low, and then have this orange line, and then see what it does on a weekly. So this is a critical range, right? So it if it starts going down, that means risk is rising, the water level is rising, right, and so on. So the weekly, you can now you got the idea. What we want is somewhere here. So 46k, what I was going to do, but I'm not changing at this moment. What I wish to do is I can do that actually. I can say give me 46k. Okay, give me 46k. I can lower this, and I can lower this one and say give me 48,500. Last confirmation, right, for all time. So I can do that. So in other words, if we get a bounce, we have to make sure that it crosses 46k. Okay, we don't want any bounce up to this one. Even if it bounces up to 43k, it's not good enough. It has to break above 46k, and ultimately, formality point of view, it has to break above, because if it breaks above 46k, this is more like a formality, but you never know. I have to stick to my technicals, um, because I must not break my own rule. So that's why this has to be kept, right? So that's my take, right? At this moment, let's see how market opens. The capital market opens on Sunday, futures open Sunday, and then Monday. It all depends. And the war situation, right? That is also related, because it's related to commodities, it's related to inflation is related to rates is related to Bitcoin. So everything is tied up. Anyway, so technically these are the key levels. This is the setup, right? So I think you got the idea. Let's zoom out on a monthly, and we'll hide the drawings. Okay, we'll hide the drawings. What you could see here is the monthly is definitely weak. If this is month hasn't ended, and sometime middle of the month looks bad. It happened somewhere here as well, but it bounced last 2 days. I think I remember this move was in last 2 days, and it recovered and turned into a green candle February month. So you never know. We still have 15 days. So nice move on the upside. You never know. There could be good news on the war side. Something might change, and everything would change. So in that case, we cannot just assume it's going to go down. That's why those levels matters. So at this moment, in the present time, this is not encouraging at all, right? Because after this two back-to-back green candle, we were expecting somewhere here 50k plus in this month. Then we could say, okay, now then there is one correction and an attempt, double top, fine, came down, okay, not bad, because this is still higher, right? So not bad. And then now it's rising, so we were good. So even this was super boring. 14 months of consolidation is not easy. It's not easy. And in fact, one positive perspective I could give is this: in last bull run, this phase was going down. In this was actually it's going sideways. So that's a positive thing. But this thing hasn't happened. If this happens, then it would go deeper, as I mentioned. But what we could say, that you can relate this phase with this phase, where it was clearly going down. And if you are in this phase, you could clearly see. Of course, when I was not TA, I could not see. I would commit that. I would admit that. But if with this knowledge, you can see that it was declining. First of all, I had no clue that I am supposed to watch at 1 month. I used to watch at 1 day. I had no clue when I was not TA. Okay, so that's the thing. So zoom out is required when you are supposed to track the trend and all. Anyways, so you have this information. Now if I compare, this is positive that way, because it's not that it's going down. You have seen some coins like Filecoin. I'm not trying to point out only one coin, there are many coins like that. But in that case, it was going down. It made new low, right? There are many coins like that. So that's an example of bear, but this is strong. Look at that, it's moving sideways, so it's super boring as I said, but it hasn't made new low. So this was the low, this is not new low, and it is here, so that's a positive thing compared to this one where it was hitting this level hard and hard. And so we would know that if they keep on coming, so this is still in a good position. But now if you think about it, and if it continues going down and comes down to it breaks below last month's low, which is 37k, then pressure will go up definitely, right? And then the chance of breakdown will go up significantly. So that's why it's very important that we track 36k, 37k level. From a monthly point of view, the tolerance is much higher because things change slowly. In that case, 33k monthly point of view, 33k is the critical level, because to me January low, if this is taken out, then it's in deep trouble, because then it will be significantly weaker. So monthly point of view, 33k gives the last level, or critical level or support. Okay, so that's how it looks. So this candle is not promising at this moment, but overall setup compared to last bull is encouraging that way, that the market is more resilient, Bitcoin is more resilient, right? So what else? Yeah, let's have a quick look at quarterly. Yeah, quarterly, see, the quarterly is same thing as I mentioned last session a couple of weeks ago. This was rejection and this is defense, and this is where it was trying to decide. Now instead of here, it is going down, right? So from a quarterly low is 32,950, around 33k. So that matters, right? So if this is taken down, then you can say it can retest this level, yeah, on a quarterly, yeah, but then probably that's too much, yeah. But then on a quarterly, 29k is the last level, right? So 30 in summary, um, weekly, daily suggests that 36-37k is the critical, monthly suggests that 33 is the critical, and quarterly suggests that 29 is critical, right? mm, yeah, I think another thing, so the quarterly is very important. I think the one thing, yeah, I think I covered everything. So that's my take on Bitcoin. Right, that's so very important. We can have a quick look at low level. So this is consolidating. So we might see one quick move on the upside, or just consolidation in this range for next 34 hours, or whenever market opens, Sunday evening my time, midnight UTC, and then we should see a major move. Otherwise, so this market is like, I mean, Bitcoin movement is likely to be boring until then, in my opinion. Okay, what else? So that's it for Bitcoin. I'll end this recording and split this recording and start a new one for alts.